Alright guys, so in this video, I'm basically just going to show you how to create a macOS install drive, which essentially can have multiple operating system installations. So for example, the Big Sur Beta, Catalina, Mojave, and High Sierra. So that's what I'm currently doing for my system, and I just kind of figured I may as well share my commands as well as the process to do it, because when I checked online, there wasn't really many people who've done it recently. So this is an updated guide on basically that. And then in my future video, it's probably going to come out today or tomorrow when you're seeing this, I'm going to show how to go one step further and make that macOS boot install multiple operating system drive. I'm going to make that have another bootloader option on it. That way it won't just work on regular Mac laptops, but it'll automatically be able to work through Clover or OpenCore, and that'll be through utilizing Refined. So if you hook it up just to a Mac, it'll start up, you hold option, and then you can select whichever operating system you want to install. But if you're on a PC, anything you want to Hackintosh, you basically boot up in Refined, and then you can select your OpenCore partition or Clover as well. And basically from there you have full freedom. So you can create multiple bootloader entries, and that way you can do anything you want from this drive. So that's going to be in the next video, just because it's an extra few steps, and I'm not quite there yet with mine as well. So I'm just kind of following along as I do it myself. So look forward to that in the future. Okay, so now we're going to jump over onto my screen. So basically, this is all thanks to Jib macOS. I have the link in the bottom of my screen here. Excuse me, sorry. So this basically just avoids the hassle of going through the App Store, as well as a lot of the times the App Store won't show you specific versions and things like that. So make sure you do own the copies of OS X you're downloading, as well as make sure you're a developer if you're getting the Big Sur. But with all that said, basically what you want to do is go to that link that I provided, and you're going to get a folder, okay? And once you open that zip file, you're going to have a Finder window that looks just like this. So first things first, you need this Jib macOS command, and you're going to want to run that through terminal. So if we go here, and we open up a new tab. I've already done the privacy settings, so it's not going to show them for you. But basically what happens, you can just drag that in there, hit enter, and then if you get some sort of issue, you just hit open. You might have to go to System Preferences, General, and then hit open anyway. But yeah, that's basically the gist of that. And then what you're going to do here is there's a few different options. So unless you want Big Sur, the regular configuration should be fine. So you can type in the number of the operating system you want to download. And then I'm just going to go through this step once it's already downloaded, because it's pretty simple just to get the file downloaded. So, but you also, one tip too, just make sure on a stable network connection, because if it does sort of error out or anything or time out, you're not going to end up with the files. So you're going to have to delete it and redo it. So assuming you went through those steps and downloaded your operating system, you're going to have a file that pops up in here that says macOS downloads. So then what you do is you go through it until you see all these numbers in the operating system. So then keep that Finder tab open and open up a new one. And then what you want to do is drill down to the exact same place where you unzipped the Jib macOS. And instead of the Jib macOS command, you're going to want to quit this one, and you're going to want to open build macOS. Okay, so you drag that in there, hit enter, and then that initial tab here where it downloaded to, you drag that in and hit enter. And once that's complete, I had some sort of mounting failure, I believe, but I think that's just, hold on, let me see here. Okay, so it's actually an incomplete download. So what I'm going to do is just pretend that it worked, just because I've done it with all other operating systems other than the Big Sur version. So let's just imagine now, okay, I'm going to go to where I have all of my macOS operating systems. Just bear with me here for a second. Got to do this on the fly here. I expected that just to work. But okay, so macOS install apps, okay? So now, after you build that, in this file here, inside the actual build, right, you're going to see the macOS install app. So pretend that's where I am, and you basically just take this, you can copy it, I like to copy and paste it because sometimes if you just drag it, it just makes the alias, which won't work for what we're trying to do. And you can delete one later, but it never hurts to always keep the root one because you never want to go through the downloads twice. But anyways, you hit paste in your applications. Then after a few seconds, you should see this finder, depending on your disks, like if you have NVMe, SATA, or solid state drives. It might take a little bit of time. But basically, once you get to this point and you can see all of the operating systems you want in your applications, now we're at the point where we can move on. So I'll explain what you're seeing here in the top right of my screen. So let's say you want to configure a drive that has Catalina, Mojave, and High Sierra. So what you want to do is connect the drive. So I'm using a hard drive just because it has more space. But anything that's USB based, I believe it will work with hard drives. It's just, to me, I've wiped many operating systems by even just trying to resize certain partitions for operating systems. Like for example, if you try and resize make an APFS partition to install macOS on anything that's Windows or Linux, in my experience on M.2 drives, it completely makes the drive unreadable, and I've lost everything more than a few times. So anyways, just do it on something that's, already formatted, out of the way, and not going to mess up your system. So with all that out of the way, you go into disk utility. And as you can see here, I've already gone through the process, but I'm going to explain exactly what I've done. So if you have just a new drive here, you're going to click erase. Okay, and then, oops. And then once you see this option here, you're going to format it just as that standard option. And then you go through, make them at least 16 gigabyte partitions. So create at least, I'd say 3, and name each one of them Untitled, one of them Untitled 2, and one of them Untitled 3. You can do whatever you want, but that's what I've done here. So basically, as you can see, all you have to do is change this command that I've provided. And it's right. So for Big Sur, you're going to have to name it Big Sur. For the other ones, for example, Catalina, all you do is Untitled, so the default option when you erase. For Mojave, you do Untitled 1 with no space, capital U. And you just basically have to follow that. So if you don't want to change any code or anything at all, it will work if you follow the way I'm telling you to do it now. So yeah, that's basically it. And then once it's done, you should see them come up just like this. And I have verified that it works when I restart on my MacBook Pro. And like I said, this is basically all there is to explain now. Other than the fact of when this is done, I'm going to make another video, which I discussed in the beginning. So look forward to that. Hopefully you don't have to wait too long. Have a good one, guys.